the previous class, we have discussed about diversity and discrimination. Today, let us discuss about inequality and discrimination. Discrimination happens when people act on their prejudices or stereotypes. If you do something to put other people down, if you stop them from taking part in certain activities and taking up some jobs, or stop them from living in certain neighborhoods, if you prevent them from taking water from the same well or hand pump, or not allow them to drink tea in the same cups or glasses as others, then you are discriminating against them. Discrimination can take place because of several reasons. You probably recall from the previous chapter that Samir Ek and Samir Do were different from each other in many ways. For example, they belong to different religions. This is an aspect of diversity. This diversity can also be a source of discrimination. Groups of people who may speak a certain language, follow a particular religion, who live in specific region, etc., they may be discriminated against as their customs and practices may be seen as inferior or considered as low. Another difference between the two Samirs was in their economic backgrounds. Samir though was poor, Samir Ek was rich. This difference is not a form of diversity but of inequality. Inequality is considering others as not equal to them. People who are poor do not have the resource or the money to meet their basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. They experience discrimination in offices, in hospitals, in schools, etc., wherein in their workplaces they are treated badly because they are poor. Some people may experience both kind of discrimination. They are poor and they belong to the groups whose culture is not valued or considered as low. Example, tribals. Some religious groups and even particular regions are discriminated against for one or more of these reasons. A common stereotype about Muslims is that they are not interested in educating girls and therefore they do not send the girls to school. However, studies have now shown that poverty amongst the Muslims is an important reason why Muslim girls do not attend school or drop out from school after few years. People are engaged in different kinds of work like teaching in schools, carpentry, pottery, weaving, fishing, farming, etc. to earn a livelihood. However, certain kinds of works are valued more than others. Activities like cleaning, washing, cutting hair, picking garbage are seen as tasks that are less valued, and people who do this work are seen as dirty or impure. This belief is an important aspect of caste system. In the caste system, communities or groups of people who placed in a sort of ladder where each caste was either above or below the other. Those who placed themselves at the top of this ladder are called themselves upper caste and saw themselves as superior. The groups who were placed at the bottom of the ladder were seen as unworthy and were called untouchables. Dalit is a term that people belonging to so-called lower caste use to address themselves. They prefer this word to untouchable. Dalit means those who have been broken. This word, according to Dalits, shows how some social prejudices and discrimination have broken the Dalit people. The government refers this group of people as scheduled caste. Caste rules were set which did not allow the so-called untouchables to do or to take in work other than what they mean to do. For example, some groups were forced to pick up garbage and remove dead animals from the village, but they were not allowed to enter the homes of upper caste or take water from the village well, or even enter the temples. Their children could not sit next to the children of other caste in the school. Thus, upper caste acted in many ways, which did not give the so called untouchables the same rights as they enjoyed. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, one of the greatest leaders of India, shares his first experience of caste based discrimination, which took place in 1901 when he was just 9 years old. He had gone with his brothers and cousins to meet his father in Koregaon, which is now in Maharashtra. As they waited for an hour to the station, at the station master came to inquire. He asked for their tickets and they showed him. He asked them why they were waiting there. They told him that wanted to go to Koregaon and were waiting for his father or servant to come. As they did not know how to reach Koregaon, and as they were well dressed and from their good talk, the station master couldn't know that they were children of untouchables. He was sure that they were Brahmin children and was worried about their plight. When the station master asked them about their caste, Dr. Ambedkar, without a moment's thought, said that they were Mahars. Hearing this, the station master was stunned and his face color changed and went away. After some time, he returned and asked them what they were supposed to do. They told that they wanted to go to Koregaon and hire a bullock cart. But even hearing them as Mahar children, not a single bullock cart was ready to take them. Even though they were ready to pay the double rate, they refused to take them. The cartmen thought they would suffer being polluted and demean themselves carrying passengers of the untouchable classes. This small incident shows how a simple task of going from one place to another place in a cart was not available to the children even though they could pay the money. All the cartmen at the station refused to take the children. They acted in a discriminatory manner. So clearly, as this story shows us, caste based discrimination is not only limited to preventing Dalits from undertaking certain economic activities, but it also denies them the respect and dignity given to others. Imagine how difficult it would be if people could not move easily from one place to the other. How insulting and hurtful it is to have people move away or refuse to touch you or allow you to drink from the same source as they do. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar is considered as the father of Indian Constitution and he is the best known leader of Dalits. Dr. Ambedkar fought for the rights of Dalit community. He was born into Mahar caste, which was considered untouchable. Dr. Ambedkar was the first person from his caste who completed his college education and went to England to become a lawyer. He encouraged Dalits to send their children to school and college. Dr. Ambedkar believed that Dalits must fight the caste system and work towards a society based on respect, or not just for a few but for all persons. The struggle for freedom from British rule also included within it the struggle of large groups of people only fought against who not only fought against the British but also fought to be treated more equally. Dalits, women, tribals, and peasants fought against the inequalities they experienced in their lives. As pointed out earlier, many Dalits organized themselves to gain entry into temples. Women demanded they should have same right for education as men did. Peasants and tribals fought to release themselves from the grasp of moneylenders and the high interest they were charged. When India became a nation in 1947, our leaders too were concerned about the different kinds of inequalities that existed. Those who wrote the Constitution of India, a document that laid out the rules by which the nation would function, were aware of the ways in which discrimination had been practiced in our society and how people had struggled against this. Many leaders of this struggle, such as Dr. Ambedkar, had also fought for the rights of the Dalits. Leaders set out a vision and goals in the constitution to ensure that all the people of India were considered equal. This equality of all persons is seen as a key value that unites us all as Indians. Everyone has equal rights and opportunities. Untouchability is seen as a crime and has been legally abolished by law. People are free to choose the kind of work they wish to do. Government jobs are open to all the people. In addition, the Constitution also placed responsibility on the government to take specific steps to realize this right to equality for poor and other such marginal communities. The writers of the Constitution also said that respect for diversity was a significant element in the ensuring equality. They felt that people must have the freedom to follow the religion, speak their language, celebrate their festivals, and express themselves freely. They said that no one language, religion, or festival should become compulsory for all to follow. They said that the government must treat all religions equally. Therefore, India became a secular country where people of different religions and faiths have the freedom to practice and follow the religion without any fear of discrimination. This is seen as an important element of our unity, that we all live together and respect one another. In the first page of Constitution, that clearly states that all Indians are entitled to equality of status and opportunity. Though these ideals are enshrined in our Constitution, inequalities exist even today. Equality is a value that we have to keep striving for and not something which will happen automatically. People's struggles and positive actions by the government are necessary to make this a reality for all Indians.